Alright guys, so the Blueprint in Practice, episode 6. The series where I show exactly how I implement the blueprint in real life. And if you're new here, if you're not aware, the blueprint is probably one of, if not the simplest approaches to fitness on the internet. And if you haven't read it, this series is not going to make that much sense. So it's in the description and it's free to read through if you like. It's the approach I've been following for 4 or 5 years at this point, and how I've built my physique. All right, so in this episode, I also have some questions to answer, luckily. But the training, I will hit around, I would say 6.5 reps on the chin up in this episode, which is quite good. I mean, progress is just slow when you're an advanced lifter, I suppose. So I'm quite happy with it, honestly. And it's honestly faster than I expected, because in the beginning it was very slow when I was training with the 11 kilos or 30 pounds, I believe. And now it's faster for some reason. And I haven't increased my calorie intake or anything. But I'm probably going to look at adding 5 kilos more, or 10 pounds more, 12 pounds more, I think, in a couple of months' time already. So that's pretty exciting in my opinion. But the question. So Lee Rumi asks, love your videos. Do you use dumbbells to increase the range of motion? If so, does this increase chest growth, or would regular push-ups be enough? And look, yes, I do dumbbell or push-ups on dumbbells to increase the range of motion. And does that increase chest growth? Maybe. That's what I'm doing here, but in my warm-up. You can get deeper, obviously, as you can see here. But this also applies if you're doing it on rings or anything. And I suppose it does, because the most stretched portion of any movement is the most important, as that is shown in the scientific literature, I believe, to be responsible for the most growth, as lengthened partials. So just doing the stretch portion and not coming all the way up recruits the same amount of, or leads to the same amount of muscle hypertrophy and strength gain as doing them in full range of motion. And look, you gotta remember here that all my scientific knowledge is secondhand, so I don't go in and look at the studies or anything like that. It's all something I've gathered up over the years, or something I just have experience with myself. But you can even, just by stretching a muscle, for example, if you try to stretch out your chest right now, it will pump up, like you will feel a pump in the muscle. So it definitely recruits muscle fibers. So I suppose, yes, the stretch portion is the most important portion. Hence, doing your push-ups or whatever in a more, being able to get a better stretch will be better. But if you're a beginner, you can just do full range of motion push-ups on the floor. And you can also do that forever if you want to. The primary reason why I began doing them on dumbbells was just to try it, because I hadn't really tried it before. And then I've just sort of gotten used to it now, and I actually kind of enjoy it more. It just feels better to get a deeper stretch. And it is also probably slightly better than just doing them on the floor. But look, if you don't have dumbbells or something like that, you can do it on the floor, fine. The most important thing is that you just do something, okay? All these small changes to optimize your training is probably, this is a wild guess, or not really, it's probably going to be responsible for 10% of your gains. Like all the small optimization, like how often should you train, how many reps should you do, should I stretch the muscle more in the movement, etc., etc. This is very much some in nitpicky territory. You just doing something is going to be responsible for 90% of your results. You can see this with people who just train, like just the most basic workout, just do bodyweight push-ups, pull-ups, like sort of what we're doing here, although we're doing it a little more optimally maybe. They built great physiques over the years, and they don't even like diet properly. They just eat like crap, really. And they build like quite good physiques, obviously. Could you build or optimize it? Yes, but it just goes to show that like the basics are what matters by far the most, and what are going to be responsible for 90% of your results when it comes to fitness. And yeah, same as running. Like you just running will get you great cardiovascular health. And it's like, well, could you optimize it? Yes. And that's where every small little detail comes into play. Like, what running shoes should I wear? Should I wear this? Should I track my running? All this jargon. It's not that important, okay? And the reason I walked out the door here was because I had to get some salt. And that's honestly a pretty cool thing. Like electrolyte wise, if you feel like slightly off, you don't feel like fully awake, try getting some salt and some water and drink that. It might wake you up. It might be because you've been sweating out your electrolytes. So that's the important bit. But back to the question. Yes, you can do push-ups on the floor. That's fine. Will doing it on dumbbells be optimally or better? Yes, it's maybe slightly better, but it's not something you have to do absolutely. But my first set on the... Oh, this was my second set, no? I think this is my second set. Because I can see I'm struggling a bit. On the first set, look, I was only able to do like 4.5 reps. Like the last rep there was not really that good. I barely got my chin over the bar. But that was because I went super hard in the first one. Maybe on the first set here on the chin up, if you remember, where I got 6.5 reps. Maybe I should have saved that half rep, like that energy for the second set. That might have been a good idea. And look there, I'm just doing the stretch portion. That's also something good about like doing them on dumbbells, the push-ups, I suppose, is that you can sort of like fall into the stretch at the bottom without hitting the floor, and that way like bang out mini reps at the end or something like that. I suppose you could also do that on the floor, but yeah, it's just easier on the dumbbells, I guess. And the squats. And done. And look, if you watch these videos, you know that it's very much just a case of repeating the same things. But I suppose that's important. Like you're just repeating the same stuff over and over again. I want to repeat the same things over and over again until I can wake you up in the middle of the night and have you just recite it automatically. Because there is just only a few things that matter in training for most people. And that's sort of what I teach in these videos and what are fully laid out in the blueprint, obviously. But I feel like a lot of questions also only, it's like, should I do this or that or that or this? It sort of comes from a point. But I remember I was like this when I began training as well, like trying to optimize everything. But you got to be aware and remember that these optimization measures are not that important, okay? The important bit is you just doing something. But it's because you're not seeing, though, it just takes a long time to build muscle and strength. And that's just how it is. And that's why you want to optimize it, understand. You just got to be careful not to optimize too much, because then you'll get confused. That's what happened to me anyway. But the optimal thing, honestly, is just to find a way of working out that you think is fun. So do an exercise that you enjoy, whatever. Like in a fashion which you can do, like in terms of how long to work out, etc. And then just doing it and not thinking about it really. And then when it comes to nutrition, I've just been eating the same meals as usually. So the rice, meat, eggs, vegetables. That's the meal I eat for breakfast and lunch every day. With breakfast, I have some Greek yogurt as well. And then for dinner, it varies a little bit because I eat with my parents. But that's about it. And I eat 3 times a day. But how you eat really comes down to your lifestyle. So you can eat 6 times a day. You're probably not going to do that. But it is possible. Like, it doesn't matter how often you eat or anything like that. All that matters is really the amount of calories you get in and the amount of protein you get in. But look, it's just the 3 rules. Eat mostly good foods. make sure to include protein-rich good foods, number 2 rule. And number 3 rule is to bulk or cut depending on your goals. And you don't have to follow that rule. That's the least important rule, because most people are probably just going to be eating somewhere around maintenance, which means that you eat until you're full. So you just follow your appetite and then eat those healthy, nutritious foods with enough protein. And that way you're going to recomp over the years. So all the fat you have on your body can be burned as energy to build muscle, I believe. And in that way, you'll just weigh around the same, but you'll build muscle and lose fat. And again, bulking and cutting is only necessary if you want to speed this up. And this becomes like necessary down the road. But now I'm done, and I'm going to show the physique check. Oh no, the scapular push-ups. I always forget these. And I think I'm honestly going to stop doing them at some point, because I don't know how much more I can improve my scapular winging. You can see the wings a bit on the top there, but I think it's just genetic. Like if you have very severe scapular winging, this, like doing simple exercises like what I'm doing in the background, is going to help you a lot. But at some point, it's just not going to be that effective no more, I don't believe. But I've installed a mirror in my room so I can get better lighting. And that's both good and bad. People only think like the best lighting, like overhead lighting is the best. And it's true, you can see it's the best showcase of your physique, I guess. But you can also see all the asymmetries and stuff. So it's both good and bad. But it's definitely fun to like have a place for a very good lighting to check out the pump, I guess, after the workout. Yeah, I think I'm going to bulk up to like maybe 95 kilos or 215 pounds, I think. And then I'm probably going to cut. Because I've never actually had like a proper gotten super lean or anything. Or there was a point where I did like ADHD medication and didn't eat anything for like 2 months and got but I just got sort of skinny there. I want to at some point do like a proper cut where I cut down. But at the moment I'm bulking. And that's also why you see me increasing my strength week after week. It has very little to do with what sort of variations. Like if you plateau on your lifts or something, that has very little to do with what sort of exercises you're doing, I think. It has far more to do with the fact that you're either bulking, you're eating more food, so you have more energy to actually sustain increased muscle growth. Because look at strong people. Very strong people, are they typically big or small? They're typically bigger guys, right? Hence, if you get bigger, you're going to get stronger. It's really as simple as that. So the biggest bottleneck when it comes to strength, like if you're not finding yourself increasing your strength or whatever, you just got to eat more food. It has very little to do with your training. I really don't think that's going to do a lot. And the same applies. Like if you begin to cut, no one ever like hit a fucking PR, like got strong, a lot stronger on a cut. Like when you cut down the fat and inevitably lose some muscle. Like that just doesn't happen, okay? So it's sort of a trade-off. When you're cutting, you're going to get weaker, but you're going to get shredded. And when you're bulking, you're going to get a little fatter, but you're going to get stronger. And yeah, but again, most people maybe, if you just look to get in shape and you're not looking to get like super muscular or something or super shredded, then I think recomping is fine. But that's all explained in the blueprint. Anyway, I think I'm going to end this video. If you watched till this point, then you might consider subscribing, because I upload these videos every single week, so you won't miss the episode. And if you won't mind, then you can also like the video. I believe that helps with the algorithm and stuff. So if you do that, I really appreciate it. And if not, then you can have a very good day.